Welcome to the Success Sensei podcast for anyone interested in success, happiness, and balance. We'll teach you how to be a black belt at life. And now, your host, former professional fighter, multiple world champion, entrepreneur, and investor, Robert Devane.
Bowing in. This is Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei, helping you to win at life one kick and punch at a time. Episode 297. Chris Rock versus Will Smith.
It's the Success Sensei podcast main event.
Chris Rock versus Will Smith. I'm presuming you've heard of the altercation that took place at the Oscars. Did you watch the Oscars? You probably didn't, but you've probably seen what has happened. Even if you have, even if you haven't, hopefully this will be of some interest to you, because I'm hearing so many different opinions. I actually don't really read or listen to that many other people's opinions, so my own opinion isn't that tainted by the opinion of others. And also then, after a period of time, I find that everybody kind of reaches the same conclusion or just spouts the same opinion that others, the majority of people, are saying. And I don't think I necessarily hold the opinion of the majority, but sure, we can talk about that in a second. First of all, the Oscars. I think viewership of the Oscars has been dropping down over the last few years. I certainly didn't watch it myself. And one of the reasons why it is very hard to watch, maybe it's a little bit of jealousy I have because I'm a failed actor. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I find it hard to watch. But really, I find it hard to watch because you're talking about the most famous people in the world who are extremely well paid, extremely and over and above paid to do what any of the rest of us would absolutely love the opportunity to do for free. And then they host their own award ceremony and they give themselves different awards, and you know, it is hard to watch. It's hard to wrap your head around, you know. All that fame and all that money, and still funny money, all that fame, all that money, and still looking for, you know, awards and recognition, etc., etc. So I know a lot of people really get it and really love it, but I think that most people just think it's you know, it's entertainment at the end of the day. And then last night, you know, this thing happens. Well, I suppose we should talk about what exactly did happen. Well, a quick explanation is that Chris Rock was presenting, and keep in mind, to kind of, you know, spice things up a bit, they always get different hosts, different presenters who are going to roast I suppose the celebs hopefully in an acceptable manner, which, you know, doesn't seem to be happening of late. And I know Kevin Hart was let go because of stuff he had said in the past, not necessarily at the Oscars, but in the past. Ricky Gervais is another one that has hosted it, and this time it was Chris Rock. And while he presented, he said, Jada, talking about Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife, Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see you. And basically what he was doing, for anyone that's not familiar, he was referencing Demi Moore's shaved head in the G.I. Jane movie, the first one. There is only one. And obviously comparing Jada Pinkett Smith's stubbled head to, you know, Demi Moore's shaved head that she gets when she's a soldier and she's a GI in G.I. Jane. Well, as inappropriate jokes go, I don't know about you, but, you know, I've worked with in many different areas. I've worked in the security industry. You know, I've had lads banter with doormen, with builders, with lots of different with fighters, with lots of different type of people. And as inappropriate jokes go, that one is, to me, extremely mild. I'm sure if someone is suffering from something, you know, it's inappropriate, and we don't know the pain that Jada has. I mean, did Chris Rock even know that Jada, did I say Jane? That Jada has alopecia. Did he even know that? And even if he did, are they all friends anyway? Did he think that he'd be able to use a joke and reference her or Will in whatever jokes, and it would all be acceptable because they're all friends anyway? Is she extremely embarrassed by her alopecia? I've known people with alopecia before who've chosen to wear wigs because they were very embarrassed. So it is hard to know. Is the whole situation that everybody is debating and have their opinion on, and the whole striking and the whole confrontation, of Will Smith, was it even real? So I suppose I should say what happened next. Oh yeah. So Jada did not look impressed by the joke, and Will Smith was actually laughing at the very start. Then he obviously looks at his wife, sees that she's not happy. He marches up to the stage. He gives Chris Rock what we would call a clatter. Not just, a light slap, but not a punch, but, a clatter, a considerable strike with an open hand, and proceeds to walk back to his chair and then to shout obscenities about keeping his, wife's name out of Chris Rock's effing mouth, etc., etc., in a very angered tone. So was any of it even real? I would hate to be a comedian at the moment, I can tell you that. And imagine doing a set. That must be every comedian's biggest nightmare, getting struck by someone while doing your set. He did actually seem like he was in shock. And in fairness to him, he didn't retaliate. He handled it well. It looked like it did clatter a lot of self-doubt into him. He probably thought to himself, I'm sure when he was choosing his jokes, he analysed whether he thought it was appropriate or not, but I'm sure when he got that clatter, he thought to himself, maybe I did overstep the boundary. It must be so hard to be a comedian in this current woke, in inverted commas, climate, because very little is acceptable, including self-deprecating humour, humour at your own expense. And you are in constant risk of being cancelled for something that you're going to say. I might be cancelled for things that I've said already in this episode. Who knows? Everybody's so afraid that they could be cancelled, that they'll say the wrong thing, And as human beings, we do say the wrong thing. We do the wrong thing. We make mistakes. This is what happens, and we try to analyse and learn from them. But Will Smith has a very perfect persona. He's very, very well liked. He's a very strong brand. And what I'm suggesting is that he is higher up the Hollywood ladder than Chris Rock. Physically, he's bigger than Chris Rock and stronger. If you've seen the movie Ali, you'll absolutely agree with that. Socially, he's of a higher status. So successfully, he could be perceived to be a higher status. I think everyone would agree, than Chris Rock. And would he have reacted in the same way if that wasn't the case? If someone of higher status than him, or equal status to him, had been up there and had said an inappropriate joke or something that he had found offensive, would he have reacted the same way? I'm guessing he wouldn't. We don't know if they've any previous history. I'm guessing that they're all friends, but I do wonder about that particular scenario. Maybe you might be surprised that I come from a fighting background, MMA, kickboxing, karate, and I absolutely, completely disagree. I think that the fault is on Will Smith. I mean, it was such a tame enough inappropriate joke. Still inappropriate, obviously, if someone's hurting and someone's suffering from something. But that, it was so tame, it didn't warrant striking. I mean, self-defense is what is taught in martial arts, and that's the background I came from. You only strike when you're being physically threatened, not when you're being teased or slagged or someone says something that's hurtful, which can happen on a daily basis, especially amongst friends. And that, as you know, I hear a lot of people talking and saying, both were wrong, and there's different degrees of wrong. And, imagine someone say, a lot of people are saying, imagine Jada had, cancer, and the comedian is, slagging off the cancer. Well, that actually wasn't a scenario. That wasn't what happened. And yeah, that would be a terrible and in very extremely poor taste, but you're heightening the argument, and that's actually not what the facts were. And I really think that, Will Smith made a massive mistake by, number one, if any of it's real, by actually physically turning into a physical confrontation, a physical altercation, and then proceeding to sit down and scream angrily obscenities up at the stage, I think is massive mistake. But one thing I would say is that it is amazing publicity all around for the Oscars, and potentially for both Chris Rock and Will Smith. I'm sure it's not the end of it. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. I would love to hear what you think of this scenario, because there's definitely a lot of opinions flying around. And just keep in mind two things that I'd say to you. We all make mistakes. So there's a perfect example of two people, Chris Rock making a mistake, Will Smith making a larger mistake, in my opinion. We all make mistakes. And the next point I wanted to say is, don't envy celebrities. Don't envy. They're people just like everyone else. They make mistakes just like everybody else. It's just that their mistakes are front and center. They're there for everybody to see. They're under immense pressure. You don't know what's going on. You don't know the conditions that they're suffering from, the chemicals that they're suffering from. You don't know what's going on, the pressures that they're under, the scrutiny that they're under. So it's easy to look at celebrities, and especially celebrities with such, manicured images like, Will Smith. It's very easy to look at them and to envy their lifestyle, and just, be happy with your lot, be happy with your missions, be happy with your goals, be happy on your path. Forgive yourself for the mistakes that you make, analyze them, and move forward. Please message me anytime. Let me know what you think. It's not normal for me to do a social commentary, but this is all over my social media feed, that I just thought I better say something about it, or say what I had to say about it. Especially coming from a fighting background, maybe you thought I would condone the striking, and I actually don't in that scenario. So message me anytime. Thank you for listening. I'm Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei. Life is a fight you can enjoy and win. Bowing out.
This has been the Success Sensei, fighting the winning fight. So add us, subscribe, like, and comment. Keep those hands up and keep moving forward.